Hey, this is Kyle Benedict with MISO BIM. This tutorial topic is on creating schedules, and this course is considered intermediate level. Schedules can be a pretty deep topic to cover, but in this video we will focus on the basic tools that will let you generate a schedule and display the information that you want to see. In this example, we have a bunch of hotel rooms linked into our project to create our hotel. Each of these rooms is its own Revit project, as you can see here, and it is a linked Revit model. I specifically did that to show you that schedules can not only schedule all the objects within your Revit project, they can also schedule objects that are in linked projects that are linked into your project. Hopefully that wasn't too confusing for you, but the point is Revit can schedule almost everything. So to create a schedule, we can do that in a couple ways. We can go to the View tab, go over here to Schedules, and it's the first option, Schedules and Quantities. Or in your project browser, you can right-click on Schedules and Quantities and say New Schedule and Quantities. So I'll do that. We're going to get a pop-up dialog box. I will choose the category that I want from all of these options, and you'll notice that there are other disciplines available as well, so like I said, you can schedule just about anything. So we'll leave it architecture, and in this case let's just schedule some furniture, where we're going to create a schedule that can help us generate costs for our client and help them create a budget for how much they'll need to allocate for furniture in this hotel. The next dialog box we're going to get is the schedule properties, and this allows us to choose the fields we want from the category we chose, filter some of those options, sort and group, format the schedule, and create an appearance for the schedule. So first things first, on the fields we're going to choose cost and model. I hit Control to select both of those at once, and you can do that as well. Hit Add. In addition, down here, this is what allows you to schedule linked elements, so check that box. And over here, if you have multiple fields, you can move them up and down. That will correspond to how they show up in your schedule going from left to right. So the fields that are on the top will be farthest left, and as you work your way down, that will go to the right when we see it on the schedule. So before I get into these other tabs, I'm just going to hit OK and show you what the schedule looks like initially. And we've got the model and its cost. Now it's important to note that when you schedule linked components, you are not able to populate any of these fields manually. Any data you want populated must be done within the components that are in your linked project. So all of this information I gave to the individual components in the linked project, and then when I brought it in here, Revit is simply reading that information from those parameters. See, as I click on it, I cannot edit this, I cannot edit this text, so just be aware of that when you schedule linked objects. You can also pull your schedule as needed to make sure you can read everything properly, and you'll see I'll scroll down. The schedule is a little unorganized, so let's go through some of these options to help us read it better and show us the information that we want. Okay, fields we already went through. If you do decide you want other fields in your schedule, you can choose them and add them at a later time. That's not a problem. For now, we're good with that. Let's go to filter. In this example, let's say we want a price list just for the sofa. So we can filter by the model. This drop down is telling us the model is equal to, and right there we would write sofa, but you can see there are all sorts of if-then statements, any sort of contain statements. Pretty much anything is covered here. So if we were to do this by price, we could do greater than $200 and then everything would show up. But if we filtered it to be greater than $1,000, then looks like only the double bed and the sofa would show up. But in this case, we're going to say equals sofa, I hit OK now, the schedule only contains all the sofas and their corresponding prices. Next one is sorting and grouping. If I go back and turn this filter off, we can have a better example of what sorting and grouping does. We can sort by the model, and in this case the model is text, so it's going to sort it in ascending order alphabetically. If I hit OK, you'll see it's alphabetical order: coffee table, double bed, nightstand, ottoman, and sofa. Once you choose one object to sort by, then it will give you another one and another one and another one. So if you need further sorting, you can certainly do that. Below that we have grand totals. So that will count these at the bottom. If I hit OK there, you'll see it's telling us we have 140 pieces of furniture between the first coffee table and the last sofa. Your last box, itemize every instance. This shows every single instance of those objects you're trying to schedule. If you uncheck that, it only shows you all the unique objects. So instead of showing 15 sofas or however many we have here, it will simply show one sofa, one ottoman, one bed, and so on. So we've got coffee table, bed, nightstand, ottoman, sofa. I'm going to go back to itemize every instance. The next one is formatting. So if we don't like that it says model up there and we'd rather say furniture, we can change that here. This can be a little misleading for people that might come into your project later and see a certain category header. They're looking for that header back here in the fields. So this is where it can get a little tricky or confusing for people, because really the field is the model, but in our schedule it's going to look like it says furniture. You also have the option to choose hidden field. So this is good for further helping to sort and filter out your objects. You could add a field, sort by that particular field, but if you don't want that field to be shown, you can tell it to be a hidden field. I'll remove that. So that's a helpful little tool when it comes to scheduling. The last thing, calculate totals. For cost, if I check that to be a calculated total, it will also add up all these numbers for me, which is very helpful. The final tab is the appearance, and that simply allows us to edit the appearance of the schedule as we see it on the sheet. So the first option under graphics allows us to change various line weights for different parts of the schedule. I'm going to leave those how they are because the schedule looks perfectly fine to me. Below that, we can choose to turn the title on and off. Same with the headers. These are your headers, that's the title. And also change the font size if we'd like. This drop-down menu will display all the fonts that are in your project. So for the title text, I'm going to make that a little bit bigger, and the header text and the body text will be the same, 3/32. When I hit OK, you can see that's a little bit bigger now. We're back to itemizing every instance, and we're also seeing the total cost as well. You'll see we have two different price nightstands. So back in the sorting and grouping options, I can choose sort by model first, but then by cost in ascending order. It's not going to make a difference for any of the other objects because they're all the same price within that particular object. But for the nightstands, it will show us all the $200 ones first and then the $275 ones after that. And there you go. Now when it comes to creating schedules personally, I like to create a master schedule that shows all the objects, and then once that's created and organized in the way I like, I can create smaller, more specific schedules for a particular object. So in our case, let's say we want to create a schedule just for the sofa. Do I have to go in and choose a new schedule again? No, of course not. Now that this master schedule is created and organized the way I want, I can simply right-click on this, choose duplicate, and now there's going to be a new schedule. We can rename this to sofa price list. Now I'll use my filter tool to filter simply by sofa, and it filters out all the other objects to only show my sofas, showing that there's 20 sofas coming in at a total price of $48,000. We could then duplicate this list to only show the beds, the side tables, and all our other furniture to help break down the total quantities and prices for each of these objects and then give those to our clients. The last thing we'll do is put these on a sheet. So I can put the sofa price list on here, put that right there. I'll make another one like I said. Quickly filter out sofas for ottoman. Rename this to ottoman price list. And I can drag and drop that on the sheet as well. And you will notice that Revit does recognize the line, so it will snap, which is nice. And now that these schedules are on a sheet, we can deliver that to our client and they can help establish the budget they need for all these objects. And that's our quick tutorial on creating schedules in Revit. Thanks for watching.